What's the deal, my people? You know it is Don Tony Cephalon, and I'm back at you another one. And this one is, what is really happening in Fromville? What's happening in this town? What's going on? In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what this is. I'm going to explain to you why these people are trapped there. I'm going to explain to you what's going on. And if you like that, make sure that you subscribe and click that bell so you can be notified every time I drop a new video. Potentially, I could get all this right, so let me just put up the spoiler warning in case you truly don't want to know what's going on in this town. But if you do, let's get right to it. In order to actually figure out what's going on, we must answer one important question, and that is, who is the boy in white and what is going on with the boy in white? And as I answer this question, I think that everything else will become clearer to you exactly what's going on. And I'm not going to give you things that can be interpreted in many different ways. I'm going to take everything from the show, and it can only be interpreted the way that the show put it out there. So let's get right to it. Now, we don't have many clues about who the boy in white is, but we do have a couple, and I think it either is going to end up to be one or two things. I'm going to give you both of those options, and you can decide in the end what makes more sense to you. Well, when we deal with the boy in white, we know that the first sighting of the boy in white was from Victor after the massacre. He comes outside of the massacre after his family is supposedly murdered. He walks down there by himself. He sees the bodies on the outside, and when he does so, this is when he sees the boy in white for the first time. The boy in white waves at him, gets on the merry-go-round, and then magically disappears. So it seems like the boy in white does have some type of powers that normal human beings don't have. He has the ability to teleport himself, the same ability that we see in the faraway tree, but it seems that he knows exactly what's going on. And also, dealing with the faraway trees, it seems that he knows where people are going to go in the faraway trees, because when he tells Sarah, hey, get your boy to go up in the faraway tree, it seems like he knew where they would wind up. He also told Victor to wait underneath the tunnels because he knew that Tabitha would show up there. So to me, I believe the boy in white is the one who's in control of the faraway trees. When Victor first puts the rock inside of the faraway tree, you see that he had to know that that rock would be right there, that it was going to drop where Ethan could see it to prove that he knew what he was talking about on the faraway trees themselves. Sarah says specifically to Boyd that she does not believe that the boy in white is actually a boy.
To this random little kid running around the magical forest doing good, popping up in people's dreams.
I don't think he really was a little boy.
When we look at the beginning, the opening credits of the show, we can easily see a picture of someone dressed like the boy in white, but it's not a boy, it's a full-grown man. So what's going on here? Please check out the video I did right before this. It explains a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, but let me go on about this video right here. When I think of the boy in white and the powers that he has, it reminds me of a couple of things. And the most important thing is the movie It. If you remember the movie It, there was a creature in there named Pennywise. And Pennywise had the ability to change shape. In fact, he was known as a shapeshifter. When talking about Pennywise, it clearly says it is a shapeshifter that has no set form. When feeding, it takes the form of whatever its victims fears the most. And it seems that the creatures that we see in this show have some of those same depictions about them, especially when you deal with the bugs that we seen and Sarah saying that's what her brother feared. So the forest feeds on fear, kind of like Pennywise. was feeding on the fear of these kids that he was chasing. It goes on to say, Pennywise appears human at first glance, but on closer inspection, such as the abnormal or changing eye color, it's apparent that he's not. Now we know that the boy in white appears to be a boy, but as Sarah said, she does not believe he's a boy. And we've seen the picture of a grown man in the same outfit. So it seems like the boy in white can change shapes, just like this Pennywise character has the ability to change shapes. Its true form is a spider-like creature. This is not its actual appearance, but instead the closest approximation the human mind can perceive what it looks like while he's in this state. We've seen this in other movies before, that alien creatures have taken on forms of humans just to make them feel more comfortable. And this is what could have happened to the boy in white. He could just be an alien and his true form not be the boy in white, but of the red picture that we see in the cave with Victor and Tabitha. Also, in dealing with the boy in white, when the boy in white does push Tabitha out of the window and she winds up inside of a hospital, then she looks outside. If you look at the town that she's in, it looks exactly like the town that the movie It was made out of, in Maine. So here we could see Tabitha looking out the window and seeing where she's at, and then we look at the place, I think it's called the town of Derry, where this is taking place at in It, and we can see that it looks just about the same. It's very similar. I'll come back to more alien stuff later, but before I do that, I want to go through a couple of things with you right now. Usually in a TV show, especially a TV show like this, it's in the first episode that they tell you exactly what's going on and how you can solve it. But they make it very obscure, so it's hard for you to actually see it. But I do believe they're giving it all away in the first episode if you look close enough. That's why I'm here, just in case you didn't. I'm going to explain it to you right now. So if we look at the first episode, we can look at a character, one that people probably forgot about or don't really pay that much attention to, and that is Julie. Now I'm sure the actress is probably like, Tony Teflon, couldn't you just use the better picture? I'm sorry, baby girl. This is just the one I freezed on, but we're not concerned about her at this particular time, but the shirt that she's wearing. Now we can clearly see in this shirt that it depicts some type of creature that has 3 eyes, not 2, but 3 eyes. Now, throughout the world, there are ancient traditions that identify the center of the head as being synonymous with the center of the earth, the center of the universe, and the very center of creation itself. The center is often depicted as an egg-shaped and is identified in some cultures as the third eye. Now in spirituality, the third eye often symbolizes a state of enlightenment, a state of being in connect with all things that we are not aware of, a state of being in connection with the universe itself. It's also associated with clairvoyance and the ability to see visions. And all 3 of these things we have seen in this show. If you're talking about visions or clairvoyance or connected to things that we're not aware of, you could look at Sarah. She has all these things. You also could look at Elgin. He has had all these things. We've seen Ethan have visions that came across as dreams. So we see that this third eye that's on her t-shirt does make sense that they're using that as a clue for what's going on in this town. And in cultures around the world, when we're associating them with the third eye, they use that as a symbol that they're able to tap into a certain power, communicate with a certain person that is above this world. Some of them might refer to them as gods, but I refer to them all as aliens. The next part of this shirt that's interesting is the word that's on this shirt, illusion. And I think that that is what a lot of this is. Not just an illusion, a simulation being performed by people who are running tests on everybody in this town. Now, further proof of this let's go into it right now. The Matthews arrive their first time in town. When they do, they realize that there is a funeral going on for the people who were just killed by the Creatures. After they talk to Boyd and everybody about the funeral, they pull off, going the road outside of a town. We can clearly see them pass train tracks, and in the background of the train tracks, we can see power lines right there, which is something you would expect to see in a place like this, right? There's power lines everywhere. But then they go back into town. They realize that it's just a loop and that they were going the same way. So Jim tries to make a turn and get back on the road. But when he does get back on the road this time and he passes those same train tracks, if you look, you can see the power lines are mysteriously gone. Even though this is an overhead shot, you should be able to clearly see them in the picture because they're so close to the road. But for some reason, these things aren't there. Why? Because this is an illusion, a simulation. Exactly what we've seen happen to Tabitha while she woke up in the hospital at the end of season 2. Exactly the same reason why certain people could only see those bugs flying all over the place. Those are illusions, but they affect people in different ways, right? That is what's going on. I'm going to give you a video and I'm going to point to you many different ways, not just many different ways, 15 different ways that they've shown in the show that point to this being done by aliens, and aliens have something to do with this. That will be my next video. And if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and also let me shout out the dude who called into my live stream. And that's why you should always watch my call-in live streams, because you don't know who's going to call in, and actually pointed it out to me about the phone wires, the power lines in the background. Shout out to you. I forgot your name, but you know I'm talking about you, boss. Everybody, make sure you come into all these live streams. We chop it up in there and go over things. And then I just took my thing and put my spin on it. So, if you like the way I do this, please thumbs up this, spread this across the realm, and of course, subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay sexy.